All right, bro. So yeah, that was a little GCP intro because I'm running the show today, and I don't know where the Gamers Playground intro is. And to be honest with you, I just like that beat for GCP. So just pretend that that was Gamers Playground. Everything will be back to normal next week. MJ Dark, thank you so much for being here with me today. Kea Sante, he's on the shelf for this week because he had two teeth pulled. So everybody send him warm wishes. I'm sure that he probably looks like a chipmunk today. So I'm sure he would love to hear everybody send their shout outs and say what's up to him and wish him well. So MJ Dark, bro, thank you so much for being here with me, man. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, man? Thank you for inviting me as always. I'm good, man. I'm just here, hanging out, waiting for my daughter to get ready. She's in dance practice, so just wanted to jump on and kind of, talk some, PC gaming and all the cool stuff that's happened in the past couple of weeks. So thank you for having
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, man, of course. Thank you so much for jumping on. I was ready to ride this show solo, and then I sent out the bat signal, and thank you for answering, man. I always love, man, we talk every day, so it's not like I haven't talked to you, in a bit or anything, but it's always good to be on a show with you and always chat about gaming with you, dude. I think that, we are on our conversations on a daily basis. I think that I learned so much from you and everybody else that we interact with, and I just like having fun with you guys. I like roasting you. You guys spend the week roasting me, so it's a good back and forth. And I see that you discovered ragoons. You want to get into that? What does
Yeah,
that mean?
man. I think I discovered these group of people that I named the Ragoons. It started off with Patient Zero, which is of course you, and then you then I think gave this Ragoon T virus to Infinite Umbra.
Oh, I
And from
got you.
there, you got the Black Viking now part of the Ragoon gang, and like I said, it's just like Raccoon City, man. It's spread everywhere. Ragoon
so
Fever's coming. Rog Ally X is next month.
so you're saying that I'm patient zero in the ragoon T virus. I got you. I got you.
Yeah, man.
So
But you flop, bro. We know you did. You went
yeah, of
from
course.
the
Of
NHO,
course.
and now all of a sudden you're back. So we know
Of
you're a
course,
fraud.
100%, and I've always said it, and I think that everybody knows that. But I will tell you, I'll probably go around like Nemesis next month. Just screaming out "Rog LIX," while I'm facing Jill Valentine or something. But I see that we already have Michael Santiago. Hey, how you doing? We started this show early, man. Like I said, we started about 10 minutes early. I have Dark here for limited time, and I had to call an audible. And since I'm the captain of the ship today, we're gonna be doing things a little bit differently. Okay, this show's gonna go kind of same trajectory, but a little bit different since John Wolf is driving tonight. So MJ, talk to me what you were just telling me right now, man. You were just letting me know that they just shadow dropped something on Steam. What's all that
Yeah,
about,
man.
man?
So I get on Twitter and I'm looking at the daily feeds and I see there was this great JRPG back in the day. I'm trying to look for the name right here. I think it's called Baton. Let me see. Yeah,
Baden
yeah,
Chaos.
Baton Katos 1 and 2. So
Yep.
it's one of my favorite uh, kind of low key GameCube JRPGs. If people want the GameCube besides Gods of Arcadia, and think of it again. Kind of like Final Fantasy back in the day when they sort of had the pre-rendered cutscenes like Resident Evil with like nice polygons on top of them.
Mm-hmm.
And the twist of this game is that it actually had a battle card system, which was pretty cool. So if I was telling you or anyone in the chat have ever played the GameCube version again of Fantasy Star Online that had like a battle kind of like combat system, this
Mm-hmm.
one's a similar to that, and it's a really good story. I highly recommend if you like old school RPGs or if you played this or never finished it. It's a pretty cool game, and again, I purchased this on the Nintendo Switch, and I never got to it. Of course, as you know how we do, we keep adding to our backlog,
Of
and
course.
I thought this was never going to come to the PC, and now it's there, and now I can play it on my PC handheld how I want to play it. So I'm excited, and I would definitely have people check it out. It's a pretty cool game.
So this came out on GameCube back in the day, and then they released it for
Yes.
Switch. That's what they did, and now they just shadow dropped this PC
So
port.
like many games, right, within the GameCube and many games that live on Nintendo, some of these games are lost to time. And I never thought in years. I still have an original copy of this on GameCube, and When they
Wow.
announced it at the Switch, one of the Nintendo Directs, I was happy. I went and actually I imported the physical copy of the game. So now that I saw this on Steam, I'm like, hey, you know what? I just want to continue to build my digital library as well. And the fact that it's on PC, I feel confident, even though I own the disc, right? I feel just confident that when it comes to my forward and backwards compatibility, it's always going to be there, right? So
Yeah, of course.
definitely recommend it, and I'm excited about this game. I'm gonna play it tonight, probably. Like I do, right? I get a new game, a new toy, and then the
Yeah.
other game drowns.
Of course, yeah, yeah. Hopefully tonight, man. Like I was telling you in the green room. Hopefully, I can get into some Hellblade 2 tonight. I still haven't played it. I'm a fraud. I've been busy. It is what it is, right? So the backlog grows, and I definitely want to get to some things. And I hope you have fun with it, man. Even though it's not my type of game, from what I'm seeing here, um, it does have interesting artwork on it. It looks like it looks like it
Yeah,
does have an interesting concept to it. So maybe, just maybe, you can lend me that GameCube version so I can rip it, and maybe I'll play it on my
yeah.
Odin Pro too.
It's it's part of these niche games that exist on the GameCube. There's another one, not to derail, of course. This is a PC focused show, but there was a game called Geist, and this game Geist, what the cool thing was is it was a first person shooter, but you were a person that went in a experiment that went wrong and became a ghost, and your
Mm.
whole thing in the game was you possess other people, and the way you possess them, you scare them, and then you can take over like different soldiers that have different weapons. And it was a really cool game, and these were some of the unique games that again have been lost in time, and it's great to see something like this game actually now, if you've never played it, for the PC audience and so forth. And oh, it's Mr. Boomstick. What's up,
Yeah,
Boom?
boom is in here. Boom, do not adjust your computer screen. Me, Akea Sante is not here today, but we got MJ
I,
Dark.
I
I'm
mean, I
running.
think Boom wants to be a PC gamer. I think he wants to come over.
Oh, tell you something. Boom, I know Boom, and he's a avid console gamer, but I do know if he
Is he a
takes the
console
plunge,
purist, like
I,
the risk it for the biscuit movement?
I think Boom is in that category, man. He likes the console experience. Nothing wrong with that. But I have been looking up. He writes, I need a handheld that plays Aliens versus Predator ASAP. Boom. I'm gonna be sending you some recommendations real soon, because I know that you had a couple of prerequisites. 5-inch screen, hopefully something that can just play the old school games and
Oh, he wants
emulate
to play
really
the
well.
old AVP on PC.
Yes.
That game was fire, bro. I used to
Oh,
spend hours in that game.
well,
Like,
he wants, well, to be more specific, he wants the version, that the Capcom version, the beat 'em up. That's what he wants
oh, so he wants from the arcade.
from the
Yes,
arcade,
that would
right?
do that. I remember going to Coney Island on the weekends when my parents used to take me over there, and I used to spend like half of my allowance just trying to beat that game, and it was
Yeah.
incredible.
There was this arcade that I used to go to um here where I live, and it was next to a theater, right? And that's where I discovered like all of these like classic arcade games, because my dad would take me to go see a movie. Mind you, in this theater I watched Terminator 2, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. Man, the list goes on and on of great movies that I saw in that theater, which, I mean, that place is not open anymore, but there's a lot of nostalgia every time I pass by there. And in right next to the theater, right, there was like this arcade, and the very first arcade machine that they had when you walked in was T2, the arcade game. Remember that? The one with the guns?
Yes, I remember that. Of
Yeah.
course.
And it was 4 player, and then the guns were there, and it was the loudest game. And then I remember just sitting there, and my dad would give me $5 before the movie started. He's like, look, I'll let you know when the movie's gonna start and we gotta go. But I would go in there and I would play Turtles in Time, the Aliens game where you're Ripley. They had Aliens versus Predator, they had WWF WrestleFest.
Remember the Punisher? I used to love that game.
Oh,
The
dude,
Punisher.
they had the Punisher, and then the second player would be Nick Fury, the classic Nick Fury. I remember that too. I beat all of those games with my dad, and I remember, man, just the joy and just how loud it was in there, and just hearing the different games playing in the background. Mortal Kombat 2, of course, was in there. That was in its heyday. Killer Instinct. I mean, the list goes on and on, guys. But boom, rest assured, I'm gonna be sending you a list soon with with recommendations. And thanks for being here, Boom. We really appreciate it, man. Even though Kay Asante's on the shelf today, we do appreciate you being here today. And Boom says, my brother Neil Mental and I used to hang out at the Nathan's Arcade in Yonkers, New York. It had 100+ cabinets. Wow, that's impressive. That's impressive.
Dude, the arcades were dope. And the Sega arcades were great. I remember Virtual On. I remember so many Sega ones that I used to just go. I remember spending
Mhm.
so much money on Virtual Fighter because I love Virtual Fighter. That's one of my favorite, personally, my favorite fighting
Oh
games.
yeah, that was a great game.
Yeah, and Sega had all the arcade hits, man.
Yeah, no, they definitely did. There's still a couple of arcades over here that that we go to, and let me tell you, there's one of them that has a nice setup that we recently went to that has the kind of like the front is more like a Dave and Buster's layout where they have like the newer stuff for the kids and stuff like that. But then towards the back, they have like a whole hallway and it's like a bar setting with all of these classic cabinets and pinball set up. We went there maybe like a few months ago, dude, and I told my wife, listen, we're gonna have a date night to come to this thing because I need to play all of these classic games like the way it's meant to be played, because even though that these emulation devices, Dark, that they're cool and all that, nothing replicates the cabinet feel, standing next to
Yeah,
somebody,
yeah.
shoulder to
Um,
shoulder.
yeah, I mean, unfortunately, that's the only way sometimes. I still have a original Xbox One, which I actually turned into an arcade cabinet. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have done that.
Nice.
Um,
Nice.
and it's, yeah, you're right. The arcade feeling of, even though, it's gone in a way, it's not the same as it used to be because of course consoles and everything we got now, but it's nice to still have a way to kind of still again embrace the past and have people enjoy it and introduce people to them, right?
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And me and Kay and a few of us have been talking in the background about maybe doing some community meetups and stuff. And man, if we ever do one in Miami, I'm gonna definitely invite you guys to that place. Drinks are on me to a certain extent, okay? Because I know that there's some heavy drinkers out there. But drinks will be on me and we'll have a great time, man. I'm telling you, that place is top notch, like one of the best arcade, like recent arcades that I've been to. So Dark, let's get the show officially underway, man. I have a couple of things I want to talk about, and that I have you here, man. I want to pick your brain about this. And I'm not going to have a long show today, guys, but we're going to get into a few things just to kind of hang out. Let's hang out. Let's have a conversation here. The first thing I want to talk to you about is I know you because we've been kind of chatting in the background. Did you see all the Computex reveals that we had a few weeks back?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think we've been talking about Computex as exciting, especially now that, we're sort of in this handheld world and we've gotten a bit more ingrained through Discord. And yeah, it's exciting on some of the ones that they've shown at Computex, where we were also wanting to see what's the next, I guess, leap when it comes to these handhelds, when it comes to performance overall.
Mhm.
And I think one of the ones that was pretty interesting was, I think is the iPega or something. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah,
Um,
I think that's in
and
here. Let me
and
see.
what's interesting about this is because,
Hmm.
this handheld is, I think, is dedicated sort of to kind of, I would think myself, or even super enthusiasts that sometimes want to upgrade their device and maybe love it, but then due to, let's just say you purchased the device because of budget or whatever at the moment with 16 gigs of RAM. According to this company called iPega, uh, this has modular RAM. So if you
Mhm.
wanted to future proof it and add more RAM so that it can play some of the games you want mobily, you're able to do this on this device. It's kind of in the same way that a lot of people are not aware, but Aya Neo actually has a program where they offer complete APU motherboards. So say for instance, I bought an Aya Neo device that was a 5800U AMD device. I can actually buy the full motherboard. They are pricey, which makes no sense at the moment. But if you like, say, the form factor of that Ioneo device, and you just want to have the latest APU, or when I mean APU, like uh, CPU and GPU, you
Mhm.
can buy that. And if you're that person that knows how to install it, you can have a brand new device in the shell of the device that you like, which is pretty cool.
Nice. Is this it right here? The one that you were talking about
Yes.
that the
So the
screen flips up?
iPega, yeah. So it kind of looks like the Ioneo slide,
Mhm.
where for
To your
ergonomic, instead of
wrist will
having to
relax
kind
when
of,
you hold
you
it.
can actually put
You
it
also
up.
have a kickstand
And
that
again,
helps you to elevate
I
the.
gotta look. Maybe I've heard of iPega before, but again, this is another company that's coming out of somewhere that's made devices or made hardware before. And this is one of the ones that I found interesting, along with the Zotec one, which I don't know if you saw the Zotec one, the Zone, I think it's
Yes.
called.
Yeah, I
Um,
think so. I think
what
that
I
was the name of it.
what I found interesting, besides the fact that it's an OLED panel, right, is that on the actual controllers, they have dials, and apparently the dials can control parts of what you want to do within kind of like shortcuts, which is pretty cool that you can
This is it,
control.
right? The Zotac Zone, is that the one that you
Yes,
meant? Yep.
yes. Now, on paper, they say they haven't sort of put down the specs, but it's supposed to be an 8840U. The only thing that's sort of killing me, especially as we're moving into the ROG Ally X next month, that's going with 24. At the moment,
Mhm.
this is saying 16 gigs of RAM at the moment. So again,
Yeah, yeah.
I think
Mhm.
right now in this current climate, you need at least 24 to 32, especially with the games are coming out, and you want more out of your games because,
Yeah,
you know,
I see what you're saying by that. Because the funny thing is that we kind of joke around all day, and we're talking to each other about the different handhelds, and like we'll claim the 32 gigs being a bare minimum nowadays and stuff like that. I think that like everything, dark, it depends on what your need is. You know what I'm saying? Like if you have a beefy PC or a console that you play at home on your big screen, and you want something to kind of play your indie games, or your games that aren't that power hungry, 16 gigs is perfectly fine. You'll have more than enough resource and juice there. But you and me, that we kind of mess around with the AAA titles, we do see that there is kind of a need for more memory, and
well,
we're already getting past that point. You know what I'm saying? Yes
so,
and no, it
just to,
depends.
well, I agree with you, right? Everyone, there are devices and, devices that meet people certain needs. But as these games get more demanding, what you got to
Yep.
understand is that these APUs or these handhelds are similar to consoles, right? Like, for instance, Series X, right? Let's just say 16 gigs of RAM. That system RAM is shared across the GPU and of course the system.
Yep.
So when you have games, and a good example was Alan Wake on the ROG Ally, in order to get them run to get that game to run, you had to do what's called the auto RAM feature on Armory Crate, so that it said, okay, you have 8 gigs of GPU RAM. Oh, and then it auto when it needs the system RAM. So that was
Yeah.
the way to get around it. So I
Yeah.
think for the price that you wanted these devices, we definitely need to get past that 16 gigs of dedicated RAM at least.
I agree, and even though that I'm a fan of the ROG Ally X, and I have one pre-ordered and I'm excited for it, I still wish that they would have gone with the full 32 gigs. I do
Sir,
have
the
the
One X Fly, man. I keep telling you.
no, no. I
The
mean, I know that exists, and I know that that's out there. But again, I'm excited for what Asus is doing with the ROG Ally X, which is why I want to get hands on it. But I do have the 8840U device, 32 gigs, the One X Player 2, so I'm more than covered. But more, you know us, man. We're enthusiasts. I want to get my hands on it. I want to see what's up with it. So that's really the reason. But I will always say and be adamant about they should have gone with 32 gigs. So
I
um
mean, the thing with what I want to see from the ROG X, and I know, you know, we joke around in the background and we talk all this stuff, is that I definitely want to see. I thought the Nexus Gamer video was great. I want to see
yeah,
ASUS to do right by the consumer. Um,
yeah, I
the
agree.
fact that not everyone wants to, like gamers, right? We all have a budget, right? We all are enthusiasts. We all want to play games, and the last thing we want to do is, oh, hey, I have to rely on another, sort of plan to make sure that my device is covered. I should be covered under a manufacturer and make sure that when I need to use that because of something that happened beyond someone's control, that it should be an easy process so that that person can get back to doing the one thing they like the most, which is playing on their device. And I want to see
Right.
that from ASUS. I want to see that they take care of not only of the original ROG Ally customers, but the new ROG Ally X users, and not only beyond just warranty, but also with software support. I think you and I were talking about it in the background is that I would love to see a roadmap from ASUS and Lenovo and people that are really serious about this to let users know, hey, it's okay. We move fast with technology, but here's how many updates and how support's going to work for X amount of years. And I think that would bring a lot of confidence to users as well to kind of jump into the space.
I agree. I agree with everything you just said. I think that Asus, their reputation is kind of hurting their credibility a little bit because of the motherboard fiasco. That's not a secret. That's been well known already. They need to do better. That's the bottom line. There's no way around that. But I'm glad that Gamers Nexus put them on Front Street. Hopefully that puts enough pressure on them to want to do good by the consumer, because I mean, we are buying these things, and at the end of the day, it's our money. So of course, I want to be covered. But I have seen the actions that I've seen from Asus take, especially with the lead up to the ROG Ally X, is one that's leading me to believe that they are taking this serious more than not. At the end of the day, like you said, it all comes down to, let's see what happens, because this is all we have to wait and see, right? But at least they've taken the necessary steps in order to say, hey, we want to be a viable a viable competitor in this space. We know we didn't start with our best foot forward, so we're trying to do right. We're extending the warranty for the first ROG, and now hopefully, like you said, there's no funny business with the ROG Ally X. I hope not. So, but we'll see, man. But let me ask you, from Computex, right? The one thing that got me excited about all the handhelds and everything that was coming out of here is that you have so many companies noticing this space, and you have your 1X players of the world out there that we're fans of 1X player. You introduced them to me. I think that my device, my 1X Pro 2, is a wonderful device. I love it, you know. But the thing is that you have your A&Eos of the world out there and these lesser companies. But it looks like some of these manufacturers, these more well-known manufacturers, are now revving it up a little bit, where they're going to throw their hat in the race. Do you get the same sense that I do, that it looks like some are 1 foot in, 1 foot out? Like, are you getting that sense from some of these companies?
I wouldn't say it's 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And what I feel that there is that, there's 1X player, there's INEO, there's GPD Win, right? These little entities that were not at a Best Buy but kind of come out of China that are made. And we have other players that are coming in, right? We saw MSI with the Claw. What I would like to
Yeah.
see is, I think I would like to see, like I think I was telling you before, and again, I'm not sure how this can be done, but I would love to see less devices and more of the fact in software. And I think that's where the Steam Deck is key, because
Yeah.
the Steam Deck, right? Valve built this device, and within this device, they said, let's build this UI that gives you this sort of console experience or user experience that makes it easy if you've never jumped into the PC space. But what's most important is that with every update that Valve does, or once in a while comes out with a big update, they always seem to squeeze more out of the unit. And it sort of comes out of nowhere and people appreciate it. And that's where I think I want to see, because what I don't want to see is 1 minute, INEO comes out that's the best example, and they're making 12 devices. But then all those devices, number one, have quality issues, and number two, the software just seems not always there, right? And it always seems like, oh, well, you have to get the INEO, whatever, XYZ to get this part of the software. And I think this is where Windows handhelds need to mature. We need a better UI and find ways to continue to extract more. And I challenge that for ASUS to do that, since I think ASUS, when it comes to the Windows version of a Steam Deck, the ROG Ally is the closest thing. And I would like to see them to sort of lead that pact of saying, hey, if you want to compete in this space on the Windows side, this is what you're gonna have to do. Have a UI that's friendly, a UI that kind of over circums a lot of the things that Windows can't do. Uh, and I would like to see maybe the one kind Xbox to maybe lead that charge. Make a UI that literally says, "Hey, this is what you want to do when you want to make a handheld that is supposed to be a gaming device," and then allow then to those devices be sort of certified Xbox sort of devices in a way, or whatever you want to call them, Windows, so that people can have that UI that allows them to just jump in. Because again, I think that's the thing that is kind of holding a lot of users back, is that we're always buying these devices, like I can say as me, right, to find the one perfect device. And you can say for Steam users, the Steam Deck has been everything, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the only thing that I think Steam Deck users may have gotten kind of the short shrift on is like, and it's not Valve's fault at all. It's because of the anti cheat stuff that Destiny 2 and Call of Duty
But
still
I
kind
don't
of.
think that's on Steam. I think
No,
that's
it's
more
not.
on
No, no,
developers.
absolutely,
And I think
absolutely.
with install base, like let's just say Steam, I would think that some developers should be like, hey, we want to make sure that people are buying our games and playing it on Steam Deck. And again,
Right,
it's easier said than done, but I
right.
think it's more on developers to do better, because I think Steam has done many ways to try to circumvent that. And there's still some top games that people want to play on a Steam Deck that are still not available because of I guess they don't want to fix the anti-cheat stuff from a Linux perspective.
Yeah, that's what it is. It looks like they're afraid that it looks like they're afraid that people are going to kind of have bypass that, which I understand 100%. They don't want to compromise their online community like that. So I get it, but at the same time, I'm just talking for myself, right? Like that's kind of like the hindrance of the Steam Deck for me, that I want something that I can play everything and I'm not restricted on, right? But it's still a great device, 100%. I will tell you this, before we get
Well,
to
let's say some stuff to the chat, man. We've been talking, and let's give
yeah,
some shout outs to
that's
the chat.
that's exactly what I was gonna do right now. You read my mind, sir. So we know we got Boom in here. We got the Longhouse Gaming Podcast, Black Viking. How you doing, man?
Oh man, we got
Uh,
one of the Ragoons.
Ron, you damn right we do. We got it's Timmy's always watching. Thank you so much. It's Timmy. We really appreciate it. Michael Santiago, Soli Tech, OG Gamer. We got a lot of returning faces. I see some new ones out there. So if you've never watched the show, we're missing the co-host of the show, Kay Asante. He's not here today because he had a couple of teeth pulled today. So send him some warm wishes. Wish him well. He'll be back next week, and for sure he'll be back on Saturday. But I got MJ Dark here, who came in so that we can talk about some of these handhelds. And sir, before you go, I also want to pick your brain a little bit about that Xbox showcase, and especially Gears of War, because we're huge Gears fans, man, and that Gears of War announcement was pretty special, let me tell you. So let's kind of put a bow on this, man. How about MSI coming out like recently, right, with the device with the Claw One, and all of a sudden they show up at Computex and let everybody know, hey, by the way, we have a 8-inch device coming out, and not only that, but we also have a Fallout special edition, limited edition type thing going on. Did you kind of find that shocking? Because I did. I'm like, what is MSI doing out here? What, like, didn't they just come out with the Claw? What'd you think about that? Oh, all right. So he might have had to step away for a second, but yeah, I was 100% surprised by that because again, the MSI Claw came out
I'm
recently.
sorry,
No, you're
sorry.
good. You're good.
Hello?
So yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
so
yes.
oh, you're
So
back.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So here's the thing, right? MSI came out first with the Ultra 7 155H, a chip that I purchased
Yeah.
via the One X Player X1, which is one of my favorite handhelds because it's a 10.9 display. And I think what happened with this is that that specific chip just wasn't ready for the handheld sort of form factor, because some of the things we used to see in the past that I guess happened here is that we see a lot of just people cramming in laptop motherboards and everything into a handheld, which doesn't work. And with the MSI, I think this one is based on Lunar Lake. And listening to like a quick stuff to the Fox and a couple of people here and there, it seems like Lunar Lake seems promising, and it could be sort of, let's just say, the beginning to be at least on par with AMD, which is a good thing because, like we were talking in the back, right? I want another player in this space so that it can keep AMD hungry, and it can sort of bring this competitive nature where we have choices on how we can get these handhelds, and maybe they can also battle out in pricing, right? I thought the original MSI, for what it was maybe a little bit too expensive. Um,
Yeah, definitely.
and maybe if Lunar Lake does take off and it is an improvement, maybe we can see other people within the space. What if Asus makes a variant of the ROG Ally, but with Lunar Lake? I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's a possibility. I think that Asus probably now from here, what we're gonna see is they're going to kind of try to, just like everybody else, they're gonna sit back, they're gonna wait to see what Valve does, and then when Valve brings out that blueprint, here comes the wave of the other manufacturers, that are gonna kind of copy them and see how they can integrate their stuff. I think that the next step for, like, for example, for Asus is the ROG Ally 2 probably next year is probably what they're going to do. And if that tech that the Fox and the Strix and all that is all that it's cranked up to be, definitely we're going to start seeing these upgraded devices, because I don't think it's a secret that
Um,
Asus is going to bring one of these out every year, right? I
I
mean,
mean,
I don't think
I'll
that's a
say
secret right
this,
now.
right? And we've talked this in the past. I know I've been very critical of the ROG X with a couple of things here and there, but if for people here in the chat that are maybe looking at getting one,
Hmm.
the reason I think they went with the same chip is because I think there's a lot of left in these chips, and like I was saying before, um, you know, AMD trying to keep a cadence of updates. I mean, think about it. We recently just got AFMF, which is kind of like their own version of frame generation, right?
Yep.
And even that took a while as they were trying to make this work on the ROG Ally because of the way the ROG Ally does updates with AMD drivers. And I just feel that kind of like what I feel right now with like Series X, PS5. It seems that as developers and sort of the tools, right, are kind of getting mature, or people are learning, we're sort of being able to extract more. So like I said before, why rush things when you can continue to still provide, and games are being optimized to run better? I mean, look at a good example is that one game from EA, that what was that it's like Call of Duty with like magic. I forgot the name of it.
Oh,
Immortals of
you're
Avia.
talking. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. There you go.
it has
Mhm.
FSR3 now and all these other enhancements. And now some of these games that didn't run well on handhelds run much better because we've had more mature drivers. We had some of the tech that was promised. So again, I think the key thing is to have great software, um, updates that help, so that we're not just getting bombarded with having to brute force things, because that's not the solution. At this point, after that, it just becomes an oversaturated market, and basically a jack of all trades and a master of none.
Yeah, I think that we're definitely getting to the point where it's hard to keep up, man. Even for us that we post new things that are coming out, and then we'll do the little eyeball emoji and say, "Oh, look, look, look." But I sometimes it gets overwhelming, man, and sometimes that FOMO hits, and you have to kind of keep yourself on check and saying, "No, what I have is good enough. How much of an upgrade is this really? Is this even worth it?"
I, I
So
mean, I mean, I know we've been talking about these devices, but to cut more depth, I mean, look at the ROG Ally X and look at some of the devices that are not Asus that are still out there. They
yep.
offered. I like that they took away the proprietary port. What does that do? So I have a 1X Fly, which is basically the ROG Ally X minus the fact that I have 32 gigs of RAM. But
Hmm.
since I have an external GPU solution, I can easily use USB 4. And now think of it as a better switch than the better dock than the switch, right? That when I plug it in, I get extra performance, and now I turn it into a desktop experience.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely, absolutely.
I love the fact that they added that, because now you're not beholden to a proprietary port, but you can shop around and just say you can pair your ROG Ally X with a 4070, a 3060, or whatever you have at home, maybe lying around. And now you have extra performance that you can play not only on the handheld on the screen, but then connect it to a TV and kind of have that console or superior experience with better performance.
Yeah, and I think that right now, speaking of 1X player, and we've been kind of praising them, all episode long, but even the 1X player and the eGPU that I have that I got from Latin Quarters, okay, is a great eGPU, and I think right now it's on sale for, if I'm not mistaken, for about 699, and you're getting yourself a very capable 1440p machine in many titles. Of course, in the newer stuff, like Hellblade 2 and stuff like that. Your miles may vary, but for the most part, everything I've played has been exceptional on that eGPU. Messing around, with the AMD tool set and all that, and depending on the game, I've had to go to 1080p. But most of everything I've played has been 1440p, medium settings, high settings, stuff like that. So very, very viable solution there for anyone that doesn't have like a like a full PC setup. If you don't want to go that route and you want kind of like that grown man Switch setup, it's a little bit more expensive because you have to buy a handheld, you have to buy a eGPU, but at the same time, for the price of about a 4090 or less, you're kind of getting, a portable experience. So it has its ups and downs. Some people will say, no, it's better just get a 4090. Some people will say, no, I want the convenience of being able to play untethered and then hook it up when I want. So again, that's why choice is the best thing. And what we have out here is so much choice is not even funny.
Hey, real
So,
quick, how does my audio sound? Because I think someone in the chat says I sound really bad all over the place. So I want to make sure that I apologize
oh yeah,
if I
yeah.
sound bad.
No, your audio is good. You do have a little bit of
Um,
background noise,
yeah,
but
sorry about that. But Solik put in there that he's building his own eGPU, and yeah, that's another thing, right? I
oh
I
yeah,
used I found out this eGPU I got, which is called the One Dock V2, and this felt like I was going to the way I purchased this device felt like I was in the Illuminati. So I got the link. I got the link to the place, and I never knew about this because I saw everyone in the Discourse talking about it. And I got it. I got to the website, and then what you do is you go to the site that looks similar to any site, right? Like Temu or AliExpress. You buy the device, the eGPU, which is like it cost me like 120 um, from the place. Once you buy it, the seller, excuse me, sends it to like a factory that holds it for you. So think of an Amazon warehouse, and then they give you 3 months, whether you're on a, 3 months to hold it, because what happens after that is you have to shop around for a company to ship it to you. So I learned this whole thing, and I was like, okay, what does this percentage mean? And I ended up getting a supplier that ships stuff 100% of the time, meaning that when I paid my $20 of shipping, they guarantee that if they told me it was coming on this date, 100% of the time. So it was like an experience for me. And I got this 1B dock because I
mm,
wanted to use Oculink, which is another port that has more bandwidth when you connect. And the reason I wanted Oculink is because in my case, when I play with these PC handhelds, I like to just sit on my couch. And if I want to get that extra performance, I like to play it on the internal screen. So what I mean is when you use USB 4, I think you get about 40 gigabits of
yeah,
lanes.
I think it's
And
45,
then, yeah,
between 40 and
and then
45.
Oculink, though, gives you up to 63. And a
Yeah,
lot of and what happens is when I'm playing my games on the internal display, I'm not losing a lot of much of the performance compared to USB 4. Now that's different when you connect it to an external monitor, you get more. But yeah, that's why I
right,
went with
right.
that eGPU solution.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that like we have very um I would say very unique experiences with the way that we use these things. But again, there's a market for it. There's definitely a market for it, and just the choice is nice, right? Dark, I know I don't have you for much longer, man. So I do want to get to the Xbox showcase and just pick your brain about some things that I saw, and just I haven't been able to talk about it yet, but I just want to remind everybody real fast that the ROG Ally X is on pre-order. So get out there, guys. July 22nd is going to be glorious. Okay, for some of us that are
Yeah,
in
it's
the
gonna be
pre-order
glorious
water,
with all those RMAs.
it's going to be glorious with the 80 watt hour battery. And speaking of
Susan's
wow,
gonna tell you, hey, sir, I'm sorry your battery exploded because 80 watts.
so check this out, because this is the way life goes, right? We've been nothing but 100% professional on this show so far, and as soon as the man shows up, we're starting to get slanderous. What's going on, Kay? I hope you're feeling better, brother. He says, "Good evening, brothers. Just checking in. I'm doing fine. still in the men, but I'm good. Happy to see that the show must go
Don't
on.
worry, Kay. I'm making sure that there's a gamers playground next week and he doesn't go off the rails.
Listen, man, I had like this whole idea. We were gonna rate some cosplayers and their outfits 1 through 10. Now I'm just playing.
Sir. Let's stop. Let's stop. Let's reel
so
it in.
so let's reel it back in. So yeah, okay, but it's good to see you, man. I hope that you are feeling better. We're trying to do you justice, man. So we're here doing our thing, but Dark, let me tell you this, man. We watched the show almost together because we were in the DM together for the Xbox showcase, and I must tell you that I was so excited following that showcase that honestly, I like, dude, just from the sheer excitement. Because let me tell you this, like, I've always, back when E3 was a thing, I have always taken the week off to just enjoy the presentations and the showcases. And it was always Xbox would go in the morning, and then PlayStation would go in the afternoon, and then Nintendo would go the day before, the day after. And it was always great to just interact with the people on the forums and say, oh, did Xbox had the best showcase this year, or PlayStation or Nintendo? And Reggie would come out, the Reginator, and it was so much fun, man. And this showcase, watching it with you and the rest of the guys in the DM, I kind of got some of that energy back. And let me tell you, man, that showcase was fire from beginning to end. Like, I remember writing to you, like, and writing to everybody, what is going on here? Like, this is nonstop. Like, what is going on here? Like, again, like, are they really like showing this right now? They are. Okay, there's no way. This has to slow down. Dude, it didn't slow down. It was like it was glorious. What were you thinking while you were watching the showcase, man?
I just couldn't believe the games. One of the key games that got me was, I'm gonna go one first, is Perfect Dark.
Oh yeah.
Um, for those of you who know, my initials are MJ Dark, so it's Mr. Joanna Dark. It's
Oh
one of my
really? Is
favorite
that
games.
what that means? Is that what
Yeah,
that means? Oh, okay, okay.
so to see that game, and to see that it brings back vibes of Deus Ex, and kind of, a little bit of, um, you know, not Bleeding Edge. What's the other one from EA?
Uh,
Um,
Deus Ex.
Not Deus Ex. The other one. Oh my God, it's slipping my mind. But
Oh,
it
Mirror's Edge. Mirror's Edge.
Mirror's Edge. Yeah,
Yeah.
and when Joanna Dark kind of did that kind of CQC kind of close quarter combat,
Oh, that was,
disarming.
dude. That
Um,
was
it
pretty
was I was just
badass.
like, I can't believe it. And
Yeah.
the last Perfect Dark was, Perfect Dark Zero, and then of course my other one is South of Midnight. That
Yeah.
game, to me, I think I was saying this on Umber show. One of my favorite games from back in the day from a comic you might know is Shadow Man.
Yes,
And
I remember Shadow Man.
we haven't got many games that kind of go into like voodoo and kind of like the mystics and all the stuff and all that.
Hmm.
And I loved Shadow Man. And looking at South of Midnight, I was like, I want these type of tales when it comes to like lore and kind of whatever it's going to be, right? Like an action, horror, whatever, that takes place in other places besides the regular stories that we get. And the stop animation, that just game, I can't wait to play. Overall, and I keep saying, I love Compulsion. I love their game Contrast, which originally came out on PS4 and then to other places. And even We Happy Few was a great game. So, but the one game that kind of brought back that energy, and you agree with me, was when we saw our boy Marcus Phoenix
Oh, of
and that Key
course.
Day trailer, and I was
Yeah.
just like,
No,
oh
no,
my
we'll
God.
we'll get there. We'll get there definitely, but just
Um,
real fast, let me pick your brain with this, because and I said this, I said this on a Twitter space, I think, last week. This is I think this is going to be the norm for Xbox and Microsoft gaming going forward, because the thing about having Call of Duty under your umbrella is that that game has such a following that there's going to be so many eyeballs glued to see the new Call of Duty reveal from Call of Duty fans, that the company kind of feels inclined, I would think, to put their best foot forward. Why? Because this is where you're going to have probably the most eyeballs watching. So imagine that you're a gamer, right? That you just tuned in to watch the Call of Duty reveal, and you saw all of this greatness coming out. dude, it's very hard to tell anyone that's interested in games that there's not something there that's for them.
I,
You
I
know,
mean, I think that's the key thing about the whole show, right? Is that a lot of the times we watch shows or we've been vocal about the fact that a certain game doesn't appeal for us. This showcase had so many different genres and so many different games that depending on the type of player you are, the type of game you like, there was a game for you there. If you like strategy, there was a game for you there, Aria and Age of Mythology. If you like shooters, you had Call of Duty. You have, Perfect Dark, first person. Um, South of Midnight. You had Expedition 33 if you like those old school JRPGs. So it's just all these games that were there. And to be honest, the showcase brought back what you were saying, right? Where we like, oh man, look what Xbox show. Oh man,
mhm.
what is Sony gonna show? What is Nintendo gonna come with? And and I just felt that the show did everything that we loved about this season, which is
Right.
get us excited about the games we want to play, where we want to play them.
Right. And us with our handhelds and our PCs, it was a showcase for us too. It was a showcase for PC
Oh, Doom
gamers. It was
also with
it
that Captain America
oh,
shield. Oh my
oh
god.
man. Let me tell you. Look, I love the fact that Gears was the one more thing, but I have watched that Doom trailer like 16 times since Sunday, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I get chills every single time. Dude, it's just that that positive, you know, uh, let me
Dude,
testicular fortitude
I
attitude,
love Doom so much. Dude, mind you, I played Doom on the PC. I love this so much. I remember buying a 32X just to play Doom.
Oh wow.
A
Okay.
32X just to play a superior console version of Doom
That's
when the
crazy.
32X was out.
That's crazy. But this trailer, man, like the way even Phil Spencer was giddy about it. Like he was so giddy, like he's like, and I'm very excited to be able and to have the privilege to show this off. And let me tell you, man, as soon as that came on and I saw the mountains, and I'm like, okay, what are we doing here? Is this really gonna be what I think it is? As soon as I saw that evil skull right there, I knew exactly what we were seeing. And wow, man, what a way, like this dude, just the hype levels of this freaking trailer, dude. Like again, like I'm watching it right here without sound, and I'm already getting hyped because it
You,
was it
you,
was so
you know
badass.
another game that I saw and I couldn't believe, and again, it awed me again, was Fable. And
Oh
one of
yes,
the things I've been telling people, I watched it like 5 times, and I love the part where the guy's talking, and the main character, she comes up to him and she's like, she's back. And when it cuts to kind of like that little melody, and it says Fable, bro, it just gives me these chills, bro. And
yeah,
again, I remember
yeah,
playing the first Fable, loved it, and I'm so happy that we're getting another proper, um, you know, Fable back, and I can't
yes.
wait to see how this plays out. Playground Games came out and showed us, and it's funny, right? People kept saying sometimes Hellblade can't be that, and we got Hellblade. So now when
Yeah,
Fable
yeah,
comes out, we're gonna be
yep.
like, what?
Yeah, we do have some characters out there saying that there's no way that this is real. And if Hellblade 2 kind of proves something, don't why are you still talking about that? Because it's obvious that the Forza, the tech, the Forza tech engine is more than capable. We've seen how much they've been able to push Horizon and Forza Motorsport. So I think we need to start giving them the benefit of the doubt here. But with that said, it looked great, man. Super excited for it, and that's the thing about the showcase, right? That I know that we're kind of going fast and we're skimming through these games, but it was so much that even when we were just talking about Doom, I didn't really have a chance to even think about Fable because again, there was so much goodness. But yes, now that you reminded me, this had such a great showing. But let's
So,
finish up.
so John,
Let's finish
so
up with Gears, man. Well, oh, you
unfortunately,
want to say
I
something?
have to go.
Okay, okay.
The only thing I want to say about Gears is that I am happy that they have gone back to the prequel. I always thought that the Gears franchise has so much rich lore that can be explored. And all we ever did was we were on Sarah. So it's great that we're
Mhm.
going back to kind of fill in the gaps and still. So, I'm excited. I hope that this is kind of like the new Gears in the sense of like maybe the movement, how it moves, um, redesigning, because again, the Gears formula is still great, but I would love to see more dynamic of how Marcus can move, um, Dom can move, and Carlos, and maybe even see kind of destructible environments and kind of I want an evolution not just of graphics but of AI and sort of
Yeah,
a dynamic world that really feels gritty. And I wanted to feel, because we saw from this trailer, that when you are fighting now the locusts, because they're just learning about them, it's like a menace, it's like a really an event, because they're just learning to fight, and you're gonna see some blunders and everything. So I'm definitely excited. But
absolutely, man. But
John, thank
Dark,
you as always. Sorry I have to leave.
no, you're good. You're good, Dark. Thank you for giving us a good 50 minutes, man. We really appreciate you passing by. Kay was on the shelf today. Dark, let everybody know where to hit you up on your YouTube channel, on your
Yeah, yeah.
socials, man. And
Yeah.
go
I
ahead.
mean, you guys can find me on Twitter, big_n_boss. It's MJ Dark. Also, you can find it there. You can also look up Handheld Kings, which is a channel that I'm starting. I haven't been as efficient in the sense of posting stuff, but you can sort of see some of the games. What I do is, with a lot of the handhelds that I own, I post gameplay. So if you're looking for some of the top games to see how they run, I usually post videos on how they run natively on the device, and also using like an eGPU solution, so you guys can get a feel of what these handhelds can do. So check it out.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. And I just want to remind you, everyone, before we go, two things. Dark, before you go, ROG Ally X pre-orders go up. Releases July
Nobody cares, bro.
22nd. And now that you're gonna be gone, maybe I will hit up those Cami cosplaying players so that we can
Sir,
kind
no,
of
we
rate
won't.
them, you
No,
know?
we won't.
Sir, I mean, you're gone, sir. I'm running the show now. So so Blind Mephisto, maybe we'll get to that, man. But we got a 199 super chat from Soil Tech. Thank you so much, man. We appreciate you, and thanks for hanging out with me today, man. I know it's kind of a different show today, but appreciate everybody that has stayed with us since the beginning. Hit that like button. Thank you so much, man. We really do appreciate it. But yeah, going back to kind of like what Dark was saying about Gears. I'm someone, guys, that I've read all the Gears books. I have them all collected. I'm looking at them right now on my shelf. Of course, played through all the games. The only one that I haven't beaten yet has been Gears Tactics, believe it or not, for some reason. I don't know why I haven't beaten that, but I might do that this week. But in seeing the Gears of War reveal for E-Day, one of the things that excites me about it, guys, is that I really do think that this is definitely a return to form. It's really what people wanted for a long time, because even though that the characters from Gears of War 4 and Gears 5, I ended up liking the cast, and except for JD Phoenix, nobody likes that guy. That guy's a dick. But everybody else, for the most part, they were good characters. Kate was a great character, very interesting story with the whole connection to the Locust. But this is a return to form, and I'm super excited because like Dark said before he left, we might see some of the story of Carlos Santiago. If you don't know who that is, that's Dominic Santiago's brother. That if you've read the first book that was written by Karen Travis, that has written the best Gears books. There's about 8 of them now. She's written, I think, about 5 or 6 of them. But if you go into Asphalt Fields, that's the name of the book. It's the first book, and it talks about the Pendulum Wars. And that game, and I'm that game, I'm sorry. And that book is an excellent read for any Gears fans. I highly recommend it. If you're super excited about Gears of War returning to proper form, pick up the book, because you might kind of get hints of where this is heading. There's rumors that this might be a trilogy, a brand new trilogy. That will be. I think that they have more than enough material, honestly, to do that, because they can go into the 14 years from E-Day to Gears of War 1 when Marcus was locked up. And they can also go into the Pendulum Wars and maybe flush that out a little bit more for people that want to play the games instead of reading the books. Not everybody kind of likes reading books, and I kind of understand that. What up, Ham? Good to see you, brother. Thanks for passing by, man. Running the show solo today. Kia Santa's in the shelf, man, but the show must go on. So just finishing up here talking about Gears of War E-Day. But yeah, man, like me and Dark were saying before he had to go, what a showcase, guys. I mean, you know, and here's one of the things that I'll say. that I think is important, for us as gamers, right? It doesn't. This showcase was for gamers, in my opinion, because if you own a PC, a gaming handheld, an Xbox, Series X, Series S, a PlayStation, upcoming that you're excited about the Switch 2 coming out. I think with the way that Microsoft is rolling, they've kind of excited the gaming community in a way that that they're moving in as a third party publisher, but also trying to carry and rep their own brand, right? So I think that this showcase was universally watched by gamers, and there was things in there that everybody can get excited about. If you're a PlayStation only fan and you're like, you know what, I like rocking on my PS5. I don't want an Xbox. I don't see a reason for it. Or I don't want to go to PC. I think that you saw Doom, the Dark Ages coming. You're excited. For Xbox gamers and for Game Pass PC gamers, you're excited because your subscription gets you all this goodness. So I think that this, like I was telling Dark, is the beginning of something wonderful for gamers where now Xbox has so much under their umbrella that these showcases are going to be so jam packed with Bethesda goodness, Xbox goodness, ABK goodness, that there's going to be so much coming for different types of players that these showcases have become can't miss TV. You know, like everybody needs to have their eyeballs and be and kind of feel the pulse of what Xbox and Microsoft Gaming is doing. So that's really exciting. And like I said, it don't matter where you game. I think you're in a good place right now. One of the games that I want to kind of finish talking about from the showcase that I got excited about was let me share my screen here real fast. I have to say that I was very impressed, like Dark said, by South of Midnight. I thought that had an excellent showing. That showed up real well. I was wondering kind of what the gameplay was going to be for South of Midnight, and I was more than pleased with what I saw. I think that this art style it's really unique, right? I mean, there's not much out there with this type of art style, and it really differentiated itself from everything that's kind of on the market. And yes, I do agree. Michael Santiago, solid 9 out of 10, and was only missing the handheld for me. Definitely the best show in years. Agree. I mean, I was kind of hyped, and I kind of wish that Xbox handheld rumor was true. But think about what we saw. Think about what we saw. I think that all of these games and a handheld would have kind of overshadowed each other. So I kind of understand why they kind of want to give things breathing room. And believe me, I want it all. I want it all, just like you. Um, Asante Xbox show has become E3. Sir, you know what you're talking about. You were out there in LA repping GCP and the Gamers Playground. I know you had a great time. I know that you spoke to me about it and how hyped everybody was. And there was that Xbox 360 energy out there, man. And it was so good to see. But again, going into it, South of Midnight, what a great showing, guys. I mean, this looks like a mixture of a Pixar film, kind of like with a Coraline type movie, a little bit of Nightmare Before Christmas. I don't know. It has different flavors in it. It's kind of like that ice cream that has all the flavors in it. I don't know the name of it. But the gameplay, I was pleasantly surprised that it is a straight up what seems to be an arena combat game where an action game where I'm happy for that. I've seen kind of a resurgence of the action games, which I think was much needed. I think people were kind of using Souls like as a crutch already, and it was getting a little tiring. I'm like, where are my action games? So I'm glad that this is doing it. I'm glad that Phantom Blade Zero is doing it. That Black Myth Wukong is doing it. Very, very cool to see. And again, this showed up really, really well. Guys, hit me up on the chat there for what the time I have left. What were some of your favorites from the showcase, man? I personally gave the showcase a 10 out of 10. Again, I was so impressed with just the amount of games and the sheer quality and the sheer number of genres represented in this showcase that it really is hard. It really is hard to deny the Xbox and Microsoft gaming brand anymore, right? I mean, I think that it doesn't matter where you are on the spectrum of gaming, they're going to get your money somehow, right? They're going to get your money one way or another. So, um, let's see here. We got oh, I see Dark is back with no, come on, man. You know how excited we are for the ROG Ally X. July 22nd is coming along, so we're all going to be gaming all day on our 80 watt hour battery handheld that you, Lucius, and Kay Asante are always graciously trying to educate me on. But let me pretend, man. Let me live in my pretend world, okay? Let's see here. Soil Tech, I love the Starfield reveal for the new content, Shattered Space DLC. Yeah, man, dude. Let me tell you, that looked pretty cool. I went back to Starfield probably on the Monday following the showcase because I thought that they had already put in land vehicles, and I didn't know that hadn't been added yet. So I started playing it again, and then I looked for the vehicles and I read online that they're not there yet. So I think the combination of that DLC and the mod support now on the console and the vehicles incoming, that game is going to have a tremendous resurgence coming up. Tremendous resurgence because Starfield is special, man. It's one of those games that the more you give to it, the more it gives back. I've put about 70 hours, I think, into it. I'm not even close to being done. And I want to finish that game, but I've taken my time with it because I really want to appreciate it. We got Lucius Augustus. How you doing? For me, Fable and South of Midnight were games of the show for me. Sir, I don't disagree. I think that it doesn't matter what game you really pick from that showcase, you can't go wrong. You really can't. And yes, Fable did show up in a good way. You have people out there now saying that they're questioning that gameplay. I don't think you should. I don't think people should be questioning playground games, man. I think that they're hungry, and I think that they want to prove that they want to make a one of the best RPGs in recent memory. Um, we got Understanding. I wish South of Midnight was coming out this year. Yeah, man, me too. And I'm sure we all do too. But the one thing I've learned, and I think we have to learn from Redfall, is let them cook, man. We gotta be patient with these things. We gotta be patient as consumers. There's so much to play that honestly we have such extensive backlogs that let these companies just do what they need to do. Let these devs get the time needed so that they can bring out the best product. It gets the best review, and then they can keep on making great products. Let's see. MJ Dark, John Wolf. I have to pay for mods. Why would I like Starfield? Yeah, I've seen kind of the commentary behind about that. I haven't really paid attention, man. You know me. I like to be in the slander sauce, and the gas sauce from here and there, but I don't know, man. I've been pretty positive these couple of weeks following that showcase, so I'm good, man. Let's see here. Michael Santiago again. Game Pass is the ultimate exclusive. Agreed. The best deal in gaming. Agreed again. Ponies that say the whole slate is coming to PS5 don't realize that when the ponies pay, we all win. Yeah, man. I mean, they're you know, I can see where the Xbox gamer and the Game Pass subscriber has the advantage. And I mean, listen, when Doom when Doom the Dark Ages comes out, I am definitely gonna play it on Game Pass. I'll buy it on Steam when it's on sale. I'm not gonna buy it day one because it's gonna be on Game Pass, but I will eventually go towards buying it on Steam one day when it's on sale. When it gets to that summer deals, and that's just because I want to grow both my Steam library and my Xbox library for when that handheld comes out. Oh, hold on, Kay, hold on, hold the show. Sir, you're not here today. You're not allowed to throw any slander in here. John likes Gaz's sauce. Come on, sir. You should know me better than that. Hell no. Okay, you know what I meant, sir, right? Get out of here with that. Okay, so we also have Soil Tech. I don't know how many hours in Starfield. I just say I have 5 days. Wow, dude, that's impressive, man. That's impressive. When a game is special when you have people that have tried to knock this game down and make it less than, and they have consistently said, listen, after about 30 to 40 hours, I just wasn't feeling it, so I put it down. Mother, you, you're telling me that you played a game for 40 hours and then is when you realize you weren't feeling it? Come on, man, get that out of here. So hey, come on, Kay. You're running up the chat, man. I'm doing a great job here, all right? This is my show tonight, okay? There ain't gonna be no Raw Ally X slander, not allowed. There ain't gonna be no John Wolf slander, that's not allowed. And at the end of the show, we're gonna be rating those cosplayers, okay? Those Cammy cosplayers. So stay tuned for that, folks, okay? But yeah, man. Again, fantastic showcase from top to bottom. Hard to pick a favorite. I'll end it with this. Perfect Dark. Wow. What a showing for Perfect Dark, right? Um you had after years and years of wondering what's going on with this game, and after weeks of just this turmoil of, of rumors coming out that it's in development hell, that it's not looking good for the game, we start getting a little bit worried about it because we're like, oh man, is this another situation where these studios are going to get closed down? No, man. What do? You do exactly what you need to do. You come out, you put on a great demo, and you punch everybody right in the mouth, and you say, listen, you're wrong. Those rumors not true. Look at what we're cooking up, something special here. Perfect Dark. I put so many hours into Perfect Dark Zero when the 360 launched that I am so excited for this. And if you guys remember, do you guys remember the jetpacks? Like when, people will fly the jetpacks online and then you would shoot them down, and I would just snipe them from, from the top of the mountains and stuff in that map that it was like two sides and it was like mountains everywhere. It was awesome, man. Cozy, how you doing, Cozy? Perfectly boring. No, Cozy, what are you doing? But I'm sorry that you found it boring. I wish that, I wish that the gameplay would have enticed you a little bit. But me, I'm excited for it. I know that there's a lot of Joanna Dark fans excited for this. It's been a long time. It's been a long time, guys, since Joanna Dark got, represented in a good way. We know how special that game was on the N64 because, believe it or not, I was a fan of GoldenEye more than Perfect Dark on the 64, but there's no denying that I thought that the weapons were a lot better in Perfect Dark. And of course, we know the laptop gun. We know how fun it was to kind of run those co-op, those not yeah, like when you would have four players with you in the same room, it would get sweaty in there, man. Me, my cousins, the friends, all having fun. Cody says, always happy for the revival of older IPs. 100%, Cozy, 100%. So this showed up real well, guys, in my opinion. Graphics are on par. It has a bunch of cool parquet kind of element to it where Mirror's Edge, I Deus Ex, of course, we've heard a lot of people say that, but one of the things I'm excited is it looks like they've been watching a lot of John Wick films, because look at this takedown right here. Dude, look at this. Just badass. All right. Just takes him down. Now, I do wonder how that gameplay loop is going to work. Is it going to be that you have kind of like a Splinter Cell kind of mechanic to it where you can target opponents or enemies actually, and then be able to take them out with like single shots to the head? That would be cool. The gameplay and the weapons are what's going to make this game. It's not even the story, to be honest with you, because I don't remember anything about Perfect Dark Zero. If you ask me right now, you put a gun to my head, I would tell you I have no idea. But again, if they're able to piggyback on just a fun gameplay, the gunplay is fun. It has a great multiplayer, stuff like that. I think that we're in for something special. I don't know if it's going to have multiplayer. That's just me suggesting it, but I kind of wish it did. But yeah, guys, I mean, that pretty much I'm over an hour. I wanted to keep the show running. For the interest of time, we're not going to do the Cammy cosplay judging, because for the interest of time, we'll save that for another time. But thank you so much, guys, for hanging out with me. Like I said, Kay Asante was out today because he had two teeth pulled. Um, send him warm wishes, guys. It always sucks having procedures done, especially going to the dentist, man. The dentist, that blows, man. Okay, so wish him well. He's in the chat right now. Say what's up to him. Give us some thumbs up before you guys head out, and we'll be back next week, guys. And Kay, I know you weren't here for the beginning of the show, but brother, I had to use one of the GCP intros because for the life of me, I cannot find ours. So, with that said, I am going to use a GCP outro also. And we'll catch you all next week, guys. Thank you so much, guys.